Hello and welcome to the Catalog Collector. In this video, we're entering the Garden of Doom. In other words, my new vegetable garden this year. Yeah, fence, big fence, deer outside, plants in, at least in theory. Here are some of my more tropical plants. I'll just quickly go through them. I have to water them like a lot of things I have to do. Orange from seed, passion fruit from seed, butternut that got almost eaten by the deer, not tropical but whatever, Feijoa guava, so pineapple guava, I guess that's what you would call it. Habanero that desperately needs water. Ugly fruit from seed. Mamey sapote from seed. Cherimoya from seed. Second cherimoya from seed. Another passion fruit from seed. This from Puerto Rico, a yellow one, a lilikoi. And over here, Spanish limes, canepas from Puerto Rico. Tree tomato, tamarillo, I believe, that desperately needs water. A beautiful what's this? Rose apple from Montoso Gardens in Puerto Rico when I visited. Wonderful fruit too. Beautiful flush. Unfortunately, first it got bent. It was growing beautiful, straight up, branching beautifully. This really likes to branch, as you can see on the bottom. Really a nice sort of how do I say it? A formal growing plant. Of course, then the wind blew it in a big rainstorm, made it all twisted, and then the beautiful tip got eaten by a deer, as with all the tips. So now this is flushing, and I still think it looks quite nice. And another Spanish lime. Let's take a step back for a moment here where the pool pump is going, so it's too loud. And let me explain what happened with the vegetable garden. As you can see, so far there is one tomato ripening that will probably get eaten by a chipmunk, hopefully not, but we'll see. This is a terracotta tomato, actually my favorite tomato this year. These plants don't look too bad, do they? For almost August, they're quite small, but they have a bunch of flowers, bunch of small fruit, most of them. Really, they look much better than usual. Usually, I would not have these nice looking plants. They wouldn't have this many flowers. The flowers would die and fall off. There wouldn't be that many small ones. They wouldn't look this healthy. However, by this time they should be like this tall with already 2 or 3 harvests of, or well, maybe not 2 or 3, but already all of them should have tomatoes like this. All of them should have at least one tomato, and they don't. Why? Because of this soil. This soil is terrible. We got it, I don't remember where, but it was a dump truck, a close by nearby company sent us soil. We bought it, and a dump truck dumped it, and we brought it over here into the raised beds. Spent like 3 days piling it in. There's a lot of soil in here, and then planted everything in. Nothing grew. Now the reasons for this may be varied. The tomatoes, I know I damaged them because I didn't put them into full sun before putting them in the ground, so they of course it was supposed to be cloudy and rainy, but when I planted them, of course it was full sun and 90 degrees. So they kind of got sunburned, but still they should have recovered faster. Now I'm not altogether happy with this. Now let me first explain why I'm so upset about this. Because right now they're looking good, and I should get a good harvest before the season is over. Some nice tomato to be eaten. Of course, Not by me, because I'm leaving for Poland on September 6th, or I believe Labor Day, to go to college. So I won't be able to be here to eat these tomatoes. Can have that one at least. Basil growing nicely, of course. Have to start harvesting it and freezing it because there's really nothing else to do with it. A tomatillo I thought was dead, now I see has flowers. Of course, the tomatillo, this is that Queen of Manalicano or whatever, that specialty tomatillo you're supposed to eat ripe and is sort of elongated and very interesting. Probably won't get any fruit before I leave. Sweet potatoes, well, this one's not taking over quite as much as some of the others. We just got a 6-pack of little tiny plants and just planted them, one here, one there, and now they're starting to take off. Well, back to the soil. Now, I tested the soil when I saw that plants were really bad, really badly growing. Of course, like a month too late, and saw that it was deficient or, well, depleted in just about every single nutrient. So we've been watering with Miracle Grow for the past month or so already, and it's been growing better and better. The second problem we'll see in a moment, and that is that it's possible that there is some kind of fungal, or I guess it would be fungal, or some kind of bad biology in the soil, which is causing root rot and killing things. As you can see, dill should not be flowering at this size. It really shouldn't. Now, I wish I could show you the real difference between this soil and the clay that's been over here, but it's been cleared out with a weed whacker, because here it was like 3 feet tall of weeds. In here, the weeds didn't grow. Let me repeat that. The weeds didn't grow in the good soil. They didn't. And I mean, the soil was full of spores. I mean, when we were putting it in, there were all kinds of little tiny plants throughout it, sprouting and all that. But it really just, the weeds don't grow in here. And I think that's final proof that, well, the soil is quite bad. What I wish I could show you is the difference between this dill and a dill that was growing, I think, in that pathway, or maybe here, I don't remember. But there was this big, huge dill just from a lost seed I lost in the clay. Just, it fell out of my hand and it sprouted and grew this huge plant, while these are, well, almost dead. Here are some cucumbers and, of course, the beans, which are completely not growing. Sorry for the noise. And here is where I think the root rot really did it, because most of these, a lot of these died. Actually, these are yellow varieties. The green bush beans died more. And my mom accidentally was weeding the 3 weeds that grow here. Yeah, that's little weed. The crabgrass, of course, grows, but she pulled out a little plant and it basically had no roots. And also another thing that points to a big root rot problem that I'll show in just a moment. Here are the cucumbers. Of course, the one thing that's growing nicely is a butternut squash. Another thing I probably won't be able to have before I leave for Poland. Bunch of these. This is like 2 plants here. And this really, this is how everything should look right now. Basically, this butternut squash is how the cucumbers should look, the tomatoes should look, the beans should look. This dark green, healthy, just compare the color. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's really here. This green to this green. Yeah, some deficiencies here. Oh, and some kind of salad green is growing that, of course, didn't sprout when it was supposed to. cucumbers. Here is the real proof of root rot. Here, I had like 5 plants of this, which is some fancy squash or pumpkin or something from Japan. And as you can see from the bottom, I don't know if you can see it, but it's dying from the roots. See, right here. It just completely died from the roots. And it's not very good. Kohlrabi is doing quite nicely from the free seeds from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, where I got most of my seeds. Not the peanuts. Here are fancy schmancy peanuts. These are, what are they? They're sort of like the wild jungle peanuts with the striping. Not from Baker Creek, but from some other company. I can't remember which one. 2 lonely beets. One here, one here. There were a lot more beets, but they all died. Another thing that points to root rot, the death of the now I don't know what this is. Mashuam? Is that the Nasturtium relative? It's an Andean tuber. Maybe Mashua. I think Mashua. And here's another. As you can see, this is Oka. This is relative of the oxalis weed. And it's completely dying from the roots. Now, this also died from the roots for me when I had it in pots. So that points more towards being my fault rather than the soil's fault. But, well, other things grew in pots but didn't grow in the soil, and yeah. Sweet potato that I won't get to have before I leave. Eggplant, which probably won't get to have before I leave. Peanut, and the big thing. Here's the big thing. The Cucumis mello cantalupensis, the true cantaloupe I got from Sea Walnut. Yeah, the seeds from Romania. They're growing, but too little, too late. I'm hoping there's this single flower, but I think, yeah, now that doesn't look too good, does it? That yellow tip. Now, I don't know if it'll fall off or not, but single female flower. First one usually falls off, but this time I'm hoping it stays and produces a melon for me before I leave. And well, I didn't show you before, but here there's an avocado plant that's slightly eaten by Japanese beetles. Growing quite nicely, actually. A yellow dragon fruit, transplanted and trimmed, and red dragon fruit, transplanted and trimmed. Anyway, I've got to go now, water things and prepare things and do a couple of things around here that have to get done. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any tips, please let me know. Really not that great this year, but, well, have to give an update, and better this than nothing. Anyway, thank you. Hope to see you again. Thank you.